All right, it's time to go ahead and get started. Thank you everybody for joining us for FasCard Training today. I'm Rachel McPherson. I'm the Creative Marketing Specialist here at CCI, and I'm going to help facilitate today's training. Before I hand it off to Steve and Andrew, just a quick note about Teams. We have, due to the number of people attending training today, we have mics and cameras turned off. So if you do have a question or a comment throughout the training, go ahead and click that little chat bubble at the top of your screen, and you can go ahead and place your comment or question there, and we will revisit all questions at the end of training in a kind of Q&A session. Also throughout the training, you're going to see links to different policies or documents or instructions. You don't have to worry about jotting those down. We're going to send you a recording of the training and also a copy of the slide deck. So you'll have all the links and everything that's available throughout the presentation. And with that, I'm going to pass it off to Steve to get you all welcomed in.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is actually our third training exercise that we have done. We've made a commitment this year that we would do a more concerted effort in sharing and helping you get to know the products that you've invested in from CCI. Most of you have likely owned products for a while or distributed our products for a while, and we have for 20 years developed functionality and improvements and capabilities that we think really will enhance your ability to operate and run a productive laundry business. And so these training sessions are designed for you. They're designed to help you learn about what you is capable. Today's session is kind of a basic and getting started, but we have intentions of developing additional content this year based on what you want to know about. So we are excited about that. And we look to you for that feedback. I'll take a moment to introduce Andrew Cool, who will be hosting this training session today, and then I'll come back at the end and provide some kind of wrap up and help with some questions at the end. But Andrew Cool is our field service technician, been with us a long time, and so with that, I'll hand it over to Andrew.
All right, thanks, Steve. My name is Andrew Cool. I'm the travel training supervisor for CCI. I've been with the company for about 8 years now and have completed well over 150 startup installations. I'm excited to share my experience with you and hope that you walk away today more informed than when you arrived. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get going. So let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about how to access your system, how to manage your users, operations management. We're going to talk about managing your business through reports, how to change the prices on your machines, how to monitor your system, customer management, and the signage that CCI offers, as well as warranty information. Okay, so the first question we have is, how do I get support for my FasCard system? There's several ways that you can do this. The first one is through the phone service. Another option is through our email address. We do have a support website that you can go to that you can ask questions of our support team. And we do have a full documentation page specifically for helping you out with your system. The tech support normal business hours are 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and we do offer after-hours support for emergency service. If you do email us, there is a 24-hour turnaround time for all of those email inquiries. One of the features we have with our support is we do have a callback feature. So when you call into tech support, if there's a lot of people calling in at that time and you don't want to wait on hold, you can actually have it so that the tech will call you back when they are free. So let's go ahead and move on to how do I access my FasCard admin portal. The admin FasCard site is going to be admin.fascard.com. But let's talk about some of the features of the admin site. One of them is it's easy to navigate and understand what you're going to be looking for. It's The pages are categorized by function, and they also do use tabs, so it's nice and simple. You just click on the tab that you need to go to get to the information that you're looking for. Underneath each individual tab, we also do have subtasks for that tab, so that you can make sure that you're getting to that portion that you need to get to. One of the big features that I really love about the website is the interactive help button. So on every single page on the website, and if any of you have ever signed into your site, you may have noticed this. At the top of the screen, there's going to be a little blue question mark. If you click on that blue question mark, that is going to bring you to the user manual for that specific page. And that's going to be on every single page that you go to. And as I'm going through my presentation today, you're going to notice it at the top of the screen. I'm going to make sure that I reiterate that you see that. But you want to make sure that anything that I'm doing here today, or anything that I show you today and you missed, or you want to get more information about, you simply just need to go to that page and click on the blue question mark. Now, to sign in to your admin site, you will need credentials to get in there. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to contact CCI support through email and let them know that you want to get access to your site. Now, in the case that you already have access to the site, and let's say that you can't get on, or you're a new user, you will need to create a password. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to that FasCard site, and at the bottom of the sign-in screen here, there is a forgot password link. When you click on that link, it's going to ask you to enter in the email address that you were assigned to your FasCard account. And then you'll get an email with a code, and then you'll be able to create a password to sign into your site. Okay, so let's talk about the first item on the agenda, which is managing your employees. So a couple of questions that we get often are, what is a user, and what are the different user types? How do I add a user to the FasCard system? And what are my options for adding value to an employee's account? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what is a user. A user is going to be a person that is going to be working in your location, whether it is a manager, whether it is a attendant, a person that's just working in the store, and also what we also have is a card-only user. The card-only user is a person that you've assigned a card to them, and they just use that card to start machines. Your attendant ability is the ability to access the website or access the CCI app online. They'll be able to access that information. And then, of course, you also do have an admin user. The admin user is kind of the king of the users, where they can do everything on the website. They can change prices, they can add machines, they can do basically anything they want on the main website. So when you're adding your users, you want to make sure that you're adding them accordingly to their status in the store. So as an example, if we go to the users tab here and we go to the add new, we're going to be given a couple different options here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to add a user. So we're going to add Joe Smith. And you can add as much information on here as you like. One of the things that you're going to add is maybe a title, email address, and that type of stuff. You're going to fill out all the information that is pertinent to Joe's position in the store. Now, over here on the right, you have your user privileges. Those privileges are specific to what you want Joe to be able to access on your site. If you set him, like I said before, if you set him as an admin, he's going to have full access to everything on the site. If you want him to just be a manager or have certain rights, you can just check the boxes of what you want him to be able to access. One of the other options that you have in the system is we do have the ability for your employees to clock in and clock out on the readers. And in order to do that, you want to make sure if Joe is an attendant and you're going to want him to clock in and clock out, that you have him check the clock in button down here so that you can make sure that he has to clock in order to use the system. Okay, so the next question was, how do what are the options for adding value to an employee's card? So the value of an employee's card is for specifically for your attendants to be able to start machines. If you want them to start a machine or give a customer, do some customer service, like start a machine for a customer, that type of thing, you want to make sure you put some money on their card. Now, there's two different options you have for this. If you go to the customers or to the attendant's card here, you're going to notice that there is a balance right here. So you're going to put a card number in here specifically for that attendant, and then you're going to add a balance. So that balance can be whatever you want it to be. From experience for me, I've noticed that they will put in the amount that they need to do wash and fold if they're going to be using this card specifically for wash and fold. Now, one of the benefits of the system now is that you can auto reload your attendance card. So as an example, if you normally put $150 on your attendance card every week, and you don't want to have to go in there and have to sign into the site and put that $150 in every week, you can come in here now and you can turn on the auto reload by selecting the parameters here, like monthly, weekly, daily, and then you can say how much money you want to go on the actual card. And then you can also zero out that balance. So those are the ways that we can actually apply money to the card, and also how to create those cards. Okay, so the next item we're going to talk about here is managing your operations. So the two questions we're going to talk about now is going to be, how do I assign tasks for my employees? And can I set a schedule in FasCard for your employees? The question is, for the first one, how do I assign tasks? Let's go to that real quick here. So to do this, we're going to go under Operations, and we're going to go to Schedule Tasks as a subtask. Now you'll notice on the calendar here, it's going to give you a calendar range here. So in order to add a task to the attendance, and why would you want to do this? Most of the time, you want to make sure that your your store is running efficiently. You want to make sure that your machines are being taken care of and your store is nice and clean for your customers. And one way to do that is the schedule tasks. Now, if we go in here, we can click on a day and we can set up what tasks we want the attendants to do. So we want them to sweep the floor and, oops, let me retype that. Want them to sweep the floor. And we want them to clean the bathroom. Okay, and we want them to do that. We want them to do that every day, and we can set a specific time. So if we want them to do it at 9 a.m. and they have until, say, 3 p.m. They have between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to complete these tasks. So once they do that, they're going to, you can set a daily, weekly, and what it will do is it will automatically duplicate for the periods that you set. So once you have these set on here and you've created this occurrence, oops, and you've created the occurrence here, come on. All right, we're not going to do a recurrence. So once you create these, what's going to happen is your attendants, if you give them access to the website or if you allow them to use the FasCard app, they're going to have an option on the FasCard app that will show them their assigned tasks. There's actually a button on the app if they sign in with the email address. And this goes back to your users' accounts. When you're creating your user accounts for your attendants or for your managers, you want to make sure if you put their email address in here, that's going to give them access to the app specifically. And what they're going to do is they're going to use that address, that email address, to access the app, and it will give them their attendant functions. They'll be able to start machines. They'll be able to clock in and not clock in and clock out, but they will be able to check their tasks and other items that are on there. So let's go ahead and move on to setting the schedule for your employees, because like I said earlier, your employees can clock in and clock out on the system. You can use it as a time card function. Essentially what you'll do is you'll create them a card and then they'll just swipe the card on the reader and it will ask them if they want to clock in or if they want to clock out. So to create that work schedule, if we go back under users here, we can go to the work schedule. And now what we can do is we can go to a specific day. we can double click on that day and we can choose who we want to set the schedule for. So in this case, we've got, we'll say Steve here, and we want Steve to work from, we want Steve to work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. Sorry. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There we go. And we'll save it. So now Steve is on the schedule here. So if Steve goes on his app on the phone, or if he comes into the website here and goes to the dashboard here, what he can do is it'll show him his schedule. He'll be able to see what days he needs to work. Okay, so let's move on. And what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about system configuration. And the questions that we get for system configuration is, how do I give a bonus to customers who use large bills? How do I award bonus money to my customers for using my machines? A customer says that they started the machine. How can I check that? How do I modify the balance of a customer card? And my customer has multiple cards. How do I combine them into one account? So let's start with the first question. How do I give a bonus to my customers who use large bills? Okay, so what you're going to do is we're going to go to the loyalty tab. And we're going to go to, as soon as it loads here. Come on. One of the other things you'll notice too, like I said before, is the blue question mark at the top of the screen here. We'll go over that in just a sec here. I'm just waiting for this tab to load here. There we go. Okay. So how do I give bonus to my customers that use large bills? So you're going to go to the loyalty tab, and then you're going to go to the loyalty settings here. Under loyalty settings, you're going to have this option right here that is the add value packages. These add value packages are defaulted on your system, and they serve two purposes. One purpose is if you take credit cards on your readers, or you take credit cards on your touch kiosk to add value to an account, you're going to have to create a package. Now, these are created automatically in the system with a generic $1, $5, $10, $20, and $50. However, you can change it to whatever you like. So in here, we can actually award our customers for putting that money in. So as an example, you can see here in this example, we have a $20. So if a customer puts $20 in the system, we can say, I want them to get a $2 bonus. So what will happen is every time a customer puts $20 in, they'll get that $2 bonus, and so on and so forth. If you put it in for 10, like 5 for 10, or 20 for 50, whatever you want to put in there, this is where they're going to get that bonus money. There's only 5 here, you'll notice, and that's because the readers and the kiosk only show 5 at a time. However, you can create as many packages as you want, but the customer will be required to scroll down for that. Okay, so the next question is, how do I award bonus money to customers for using my machines? And the way you're going to do that is through the loyalty points program here. This program here is essentially you choose how much the customer has to spend on a specific machine, which would be your washers, dryers, any machine that's in the store. Once they hit that number and they've spent that amount of money, they're going to receive that bonus on their card. So in this case, it's set to the customer has to spend $75, and they're going to receive a $5 bonus when they do that. Okay. So the next question is, a customer says they started a machine. How can I check that to make sure that that actually happened? It's as simple as going to accounts, which might take a little bit to load here because we have a lot of accounts here. And once you get into the customer's account, you're going to be able to see all the information for that account. So if we go to this account right here and we take a look at it, there we go. So once the account comes up, it's going to show all the details for the customer's account here. It's going to show their name, address, if they've registered their card on either the app or if they've registered it on the kiosk itself, which they can do. So if they've signed up for the FasCard app and they've put their email address in and they put all their information in, any cards that are associated with that account will show up on the information will show up on here. So now the customer has said, I started a machine, the machine didn't start, it took my money off my card. Well, now what you can do is you can say, well, let's check your card and see. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to loyalty, you're going to go to the accounts, and you have a couple different options here. You can type in the customer's name if they've registered their card. You can type in the customer's email address, phone number, any signifier for them that they have registered with their card, and you can also type in the card. So if they have their card with them, you can actually just check the card itself and get that number. So once you get that number, you're going to go down here to view activity. And once you're in the view activity page here, you're going to choose a date range of when they use that card. So if it's for today, you're going to filter it. But what we're going to do is I'm going to set this back to 2020. That way, we can make sure we find something here. There we go. And we're going to filter the activity for that card. And now you can see all of the transactions that have happened with that account. So as an example, you can see here this customer started washers, started dryers, and then used the vending machine. So what you can do now is you can look at the time and date stamp of when they used this card and see exactly if they were charged for that transaction or not. Okay, this is also a great way to find out if how much customers are putting on the cards. If they're a regular customer, how many times they come to your store, that type of thing. This is a great way to just get an idea of what the customers are doing in your store. Okay, so the next question was, how do I modify a balance of a customer's card? Well, in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to go back here to the main page for the customer. And one thing of note here, the ability to change balances on a customer's card is only applied to the admin user. So if it's an attendant or a manager, or if they're not set as an admin user, they will not be able to change the value on this card. Only the admins can do this. And the way you do it is you simply go into the card here and you can change it to whatever you want. You can set it to $10 and then you'll just hit adjust credit and that will actually change the price. Now remember, an admin can only do that. However, if your attendants do have access to the website, what they can do is they can come in here and search for this customer card and they can choose a package. So if you want the attendants taking money at the counter, or if they take a 20 from a customer at the counter instead of the kiosk, let's say the kiosk is busy or not working, what you can do is you can have the attendants go to this website and do the purchase directly through here. And what they'll do is they'll just choose their package here and hit purchase. Now, what that does is that does show as income in your store. So that is a traceable option for your attendants. And you'll be able to see when money has come in from that. Okay. So the next question that we have is, my customer has multiple cards. How do I combine them into one account? Very simple to do. What you're going to do is you're going to get all of the customers' accounts available, and what you're going to do is you're going to come to one of their main accounts. So if they have multiple accounts, let's say they have 4 cards, and remember, cards are not the account. The actual account is in the system. So each time a customer comes in and buys a new card or starts a new account, they're creating a new account on top of that. So that's a totally separate account. The card is just associated with the account. Okay. So when they come in and they say, well, I've come here several times, I've got multiple accounts, I want to make sure that all the money from all those is on the same one. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to find a base account for them, preferably one that they've registered and have their names and everything on there. And you're going to come down here to where it says merge, and you're going to type in the customer's card from the account, or if they've registered the other accounts, you can put in the email. And what that will do is when you click the merge button, it's going to take all the information from that old account or that other account that you've put in here, or that card, and it's going to put it on this account specifically. Okay. So we're going to move on. The next subject we're going to talk about here is going to be, is going to be report management. And we're going to talk about reports here. So what is a good report to tell me how my location is doing? And can I digitally send myself or anyone else a specific report? And let's talk about both of those here. So we're going to go back to our site. And we're going to go up here to reports. So a good report to tell you how your store is doing, and specifically is going to be the income report. That's the one that shows all the money that's coming into your account specifically. And you can set that for a range. So we can come in here and we can set it for just this month. So we can put the 1st to the 16th here, and we can generate that report. And what that's going to do is that's going to show you all of the cash that has come into the store, all the credit that has come into the store. It's also going to show money at the readers. Just basically any income that you have that's coming into that store, that's what it's going to show up on here. So let's wait for this to come up here. There we go. Okay, so it's going to show you your machine starts if you take coin. It's going to show your credit card, your cash to the attendants, cash at your kiosk if you have a touch kiosk or an add value kiosk. If you have a POS system attached to the FasCard system, it will show you that, and so on. So this will give you a total for that date range on there. That's the income report. So that's your actual money that came into your store. One other report that is pretty nice is the cash and coin and cash totals. If you take coins at your store, this report here specifically will show you all the coins that came into your machines. And what's neat about this report is it shows each individual machine. So it's going to show you your busiest machines or the machines that are used the most specifically for cash. Okay. So the next question is, can I send this report to myself digitally? And the answer is yes. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to go over here to where it says email report. You're going to put your email address in there and hit email report. And what that will do is that's going to email you a direct copy of whatever report that you're looking at here. One thing of note here too, don't forget about the blue question mark at the top of the screen here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click on that now to show you what's going to happen here. So we're on the reports page right now. So if I click on this question mark, what it's going to do is it's going to bring you to the user manual for the reports. And what's cool about this is that you can come in here and it will show you all the reports that are in here specifically. And what's neat is that we can go into a specific report. So as an example, that income report that I spoke about earlier, we can come into the income report here. And if we click on here, it's going to tell you everything about that report, the time, the date, the range, what department, everything. It's going to give you an exact definition for that specific report. Same for any report here. So I highly recommend when you're using your website, if there's something that doesn't make sense or you want to look up and get more information about the specific page that you're on, you want to make sure that you click on that blue question mark. Okay. Now what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about money collection. And the first question that we get is, why do I need to perform a collection on my machines? To put it simply, when you perform a collection on your machines, it's so that you can tell exactly how much money is in there. So you're going to perform a collection on your readers, and you're going to perform a collection on your kiosks if you have one. And the reason that you're going to pull that money is that in the case of a situation where something's not working right, or maybe the bill acceptor missed a bill, or your numbers aren't matching up, you can do a collection on your readers or on your kiosk on a regular basis to see what's happening and get an idea of how much money is coming into your kiosk. Now, the neat thing about the collection is when you perform the collection on any of these machines, it's going to tell you exactly how much is in that machine. The nice thing about doing the collection as well is it actually will make sure that you're pulling that money out of there, because one of the things is our system does not know that you took that money out of there. So if you go around and you pull all the coins out of your machines, or you pull the cash out of your kiosk, our system doesn't know that you did that. We don't have a way to do that. So money collection is a way for you to tell our system, hey, I'm pulling money out of our system. Okay, so the next question that we have is, how do I perform a collection? And I've actually created a neat little video here specifically for you guys to watch. And I'm going to bring that up right now. And we'll talk about this after the video here. Okay, so you can see how simple that is. Now, when do you do that actual collection? Well, there's a couple of different ways that most people do this. Is they will go down a row of machines, they will pull all the coins out of their machines, and then they will go down the line and do the collection at the same time. Some people will actually just do a collection as they're pulling the coins out, because if it's a busy store, you want to make sure that you're doing that collection so that the monies don't get mixed up during the collection. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is how do I perform a collection on my kiosks? And it's a very similar process, but we're going to go over this and talk about that after there. Oops, sorry. Oh, and I'm sure these videos are very riveting for you guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to the next subject, which is monitoring your system. And more specifically, we want to monitor your readers and make sure that your system is up and running. And the first question is, I think my system is offline. How do I confirm this? The next question is, how do I check the status of the equipment in my store? The next question is, can I be alerted to a system issue, and how do I do this? How do I get alerted to when the coin vaults are full? And what happens if I lose my internet connection? Okay, so let's talk about that first question there. The first question is, I think my system is offline. How do I confirm this? Well, obviously we don't want your system to be offline, but in the case that that does happen, you want to make sure that you know when it does. So what you're going to do is you're going to sign into your site, and you're going to go to the System tab. And at the top of the system here, you're going to notice right here, it says satellite status for smartwash. This right here is going to tell you everything you need to know if it's online or it's offline. If it's offline or a machine is offline, what it's going to do is it's going to turn red, and you're going to know that. Now, what is a satellite? We get this question a lot. The satellite is basically a for lack of a better term, it's a wireless device that is in your store, and all of your readers and your kiosks and any device that you're using with our system connects to that satellite, and then that satellite will connect to the internet to connect to our database, and that's how the system communicates between us and your store. And when the internet has an issue, or if the internet goes down or there's a problem, this satellite will go down, and it will tell you that. Okay, so in the same vein as the next question was, how do I check the status of the equipment in my store? It's a similar thing. So we can come over here and we can click on any of these machines, and it will tell you the status of each of the machines in your store. So as an example, we'll check this one right here, number 16. That's a 40-pound washer, and you can see it's running. And what's cool about this site is you can see what time they started it and what time it will be finished. And this directly correlates to the FasCard app. So the customers are going to use this information in the FasCard app to tell when your store is busy and when it's not, because this information actually goes back to the FasCard app and tells the customer, hey, this machine is in use, but it's going to be done in a few minutes. So if you want to start head down to the store so that you can get that machine when it's available. And that's the same for all of them. Now, some of the other options that you will have with the machine status is depending on how the reader is connected to your machine, sometimes the machine will actually give you information. So just to throw a manufacturer out there as an example for a Dexter, if there's a door lock issue, it will actually show you the reader is having an issue, and it will show a door lock issue, or any other manufacturer, really, depending on how it's hooked up and what information they send to our reader, it will show you that information. One of the more important ones is on your touch kiosk. This information right here, it will tell you when your cards are low in the kiosk. It will tell you if the kiosk is jammed. It will tell you any of the information if the kiosk is offline. So this is a great first line of defense for your laundromat or for your laundry room to come in here and find out exactly what is wrong with the machine. If you're going to call support for help, if you have a machine that's down, I would highly recommend going into the site here and just checking the status on the site here, and it will tell you exactly what is going on with your machine if it has that function. Generally, if it does not have the connection function, it will just say offline. And that's a quick way to say you can call support and say, my machine's offline. Okay, so the next thing is, can I be alerted to a system issue? So let's say your system does go offline. Can you get an alert to that? Yes, you can. And the way you're going to do that is we're going to come back up here to the system tab, and we're going to go to alerts right here. And we're going to talk about alerts here a little bit, but some of the alerts that you'll have is you have the satellite offline. And the way that this alert works is you can put in all the email addresses of the people that you want to get alerted to when your satellite is down. Any person, it could be yourself, it could be attendants, or anybody that's monitors the system regularly. And you're going to put all of their email addresses in there. So the next step is it's going to send an email out when this parameter is met. So as an example, if the satellite goes offline and it's offline for 15 minutes, what the system is going to do is it's going to send out an email to all the people, all the recipients that are listed in this box right here. And after about 15 minutes, if it's down even longer, it's going to send another one, and it's going to keep sending those emails to you until the system comes back online. Now, in the case of the way that this one is set up, is it's going to send one in 15 minutes. And there's a possibility that the internet went down and now the internet came back up and now the system is back online. And so you might want to wait another 15 minutes to see if it comes back up. If not, what you can do is once you receive that email saying that your system is offline, you can come in here under the system tab now and you can look and see why it's offline. And one way to do that is you can click on the satellite here. And that will bring you to the satellite status page here. And it's going to show you the ups and downs of the satellite and when it's connected and when it's not. So as an example right here on 2.4, it was connected to the cloud and it's been connected to the cloud ever since. But it did go down here for just a few seconds and so on. So this page right here will tell you everything that you need to know about your satellite and its connection status. Okay. So the next question was, how do I get alerted when the coin vaults are full? That's one of the great things about our system is it will track all of the coins that are coming into each of your washers if you do take coins. And in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to alerts. We're going to go to system and then alerts. And it's a very similar situation with the alert here. We're going to go to cash box full. Or we're going to hit add new and then choose which one we want to see. So in this case, we want to see coin and cash box full. And we're going to set the email address of the people. And what it's going to do is when a coin box, any coin box in the store hits 90% capacity, it's going to send an email to you. And it's actually going to tell you which one. So why is this a good idea? One of the ways that this is a great idea is because if you go down there on a regular basis and collect coins, this really won't matter to you too much. But if you're the kind of owner that tends to go down when they can, and sometimes the coin boxes are full or sometimes they're not, and you just you don't really have a schedule of when you go, this is a great way to know when your boxes are about to fill up so that you can get an alert and then you know I need to go down there and pull those coins out. So that's a great function to have. And I highly recommend turning this on if you do take coins in your location. One of the other alerts that we have is a collection alert. So we talked about collections earlier. In that situation, if someone does a collection on the store or someone comes in and pulls money from the machines, another reason why it's great for you to for your employees to make sure that they do collections is now it's going to send you an email to tell you, hey, someone was just in the store, someone just took the money out of your machines. So it's a great way to be alerted to when that does happen if you have someone that specifically does that. Okay, so the last question that we have here is what happens if I lose my internet connection? And I'm actually going to send that over to Steve to talk about our cellular backup service. Okay, so Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, we're going to talk about some backup service, but actually there was something I want to. Well, we can circle back to it, but we missed a section on setting up pricing. I saw in some of the chat.
Oh, we did. Oh, shoot,
yeah,
we did.
It's okay. So we'll circle back to that. We are monitoring your questions, and we'll go and review. I think we just jumped a slide by accident, but we'll cover that. But okay. Andrew brings up a topic that people worry about, which is, FasCard system is a cloud-based solution. It requires a persistent internet connection to really run it to its fullest. And so there are a number of things that we can do to address that. One of those options is actually an offline credit card mode. So, obviously the biggest issue with being offline is being able to process credit cards. And so there is a mode in the system screen. We were going to look at that where you can set up an offline amount that you're okay with in the event you lose your internet connection. And that will basically say that up to $100 you'll accept offline. The downside to taking an offline credit card amount is that you could end up with a decline. Since it's offline, we can't approve that. But it does get the customers through the store in certain situations that may be adequate to you. But what we also have, and we highly recommend, and many of you may have, is our cellular backup option. And so our cellular backup option is another device that we add and connect to your satellite. And it'll allow us to, or allow your system to monitor your primary internet and then fail over to the cellular connection in the event that you lose a connection. So it's completely seamless. There's nothing you have to do. Your customers don't know a difference. You can enable an alert similar to what Andrew described to let you know when your cellular backup has taken over, so you can be aware of that. And we've made an option that is affordable and really just a no-brainer. So if you're interested in adding a cellular backup to your system, you can reach out to our support team, our sales team, and we'll get you set up with that equipment and that service. For a reference, it's $15 a month for the cellular device in order to for the hosting fee of that in case you lose that, in case you lose an internet connection. Okay. So we're a little out of order, but I'm going to jump it back to Andrew to cover the system configuration, which we skipped over, which has some of the pricing questions I think that were asked. I think it's important information, and then you can hand it back over to me, Andrew.
Okay, yeah, my apologies on that. Apparently I clicked way too many times on there, so I apologize about that. So let's talk about system configuration, and let's talk about specifically, how do I change prices on my machines? How do I charge different prices on certain hours or days? Can I enforce a last wash with FasCard? Can I forward my credit card charges to the customer? If my system goes offline, do I lose the ability to take credit cards? And how do I set a maximum amount for credit card use? Okay, so let's start with that first question. How do I change the prices on my machine? We try to make the system as simple as possible to use, and this is no different. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Setup tab here. And in the Setup tab, we have an option right here, Pricing and Features. So the first question we had was, how do I change the price on my machine? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to choose an equipment type. So in this case, we're going to choose this 20-pound washer. Okay, and we're going to choose pricing as our schedule. And now you should have, if your system is set up already, you should have prices preset on here. Okay, so to change the price, it's as simple as clicking on the pricing bar here and then simply just changing the price on the machine. And what this will do is as soon as you change the price on here, it's going to instantly change the price on all the readers for that type. So in this case, any of the 20-pound washers that are associated with this specific machine will automatically change the price to $3.99 or whatever price that you put in there. Okay, so the next question was, how do I charge a different price on certain days or hours? Okay, so to do that, that's basically what we call time of day pricing. And it's essentially in a situation where like you have an early bird special, you want to charge a different price. Our system will automatically change the price of the machine for a certain time period. And at the end of that time period, it will put it back to the original pricing of the machine. So let's say you do want to set up an early bird special. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the add new function here. And what it will do is it will create a whole new schedule here. So let's say on Monday mornings at 6 a.m. and we want that to go until 10 a.m. So we're going to change this to 10 a.m. So from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., we want these machines to be $2 down the line. Okay, so we're going to change it to $2. And you want to make sure you fill out all the information that is filled out up here. So as an example, we have our extra wash, extra rinse. We can go ahead and just put in the same prices for those cycles if they are up there specifically. So now that we have that set, we can hit save. So now what the system is going to do from every Monday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., it's going to go ahead and change the price on these specific machines to this price. Okay. And what's great about this is now it will do it completely automatically and you don't have to do anything yourself. Once you set this up, it's kind of a set it and forget it kind of situation. Now, let's say you want to stop that from happening. You want to change it or you just don't want it anymore. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click on that specific schedule and you're just going to hit delete. And that's going to remove that from the schedule. Okay. So the next one is, can I enforce a last wash with FasCard? And the answer is yes. So what is a last wash? Essentially, it is a, if your store closes at 10 o'clock and your last wash is at 9 o'clock, what usually happens at that time? That's when all the customers decide they want to come into your store and they want to start doing their laundry. And the problem with that is now they're doing their laundry and now your attendants have to stay later. Your store has to stay open longer because those customers are there and they're doing their laundry. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we stop that from happening. And one way to do that is to disable the readers on the machines at a certain time. So even if a customer comes in and tries to sneak in to try and get that load done, they won't be able to start the machine. It will just basically say on the reader, it'll say stores closed. Okay, so how do we set that? Very simply, we're going to go to the schedule here and we're going to go to features. And under features, we're going to click add new. If this function is not here yet, we're going to still hit add new. So now we're going to hit add new and we're going to see a scheduled period here. So let's say your store closes at 10. And you want these machines to turn off or the readers to disable at 9:30. Okay, so we're going to say, and you're going to have to do this for each individual day that you want this to happen to set up the schedule for each type of machine. So in this case, we'll say on Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Oops. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to turn it off. But then in the case of if you have after hours washing or we just want to turn it off so that customers can't start the machine, but you want them to turn back on. What you're going to do is you're going to put a later time. So let's say your store closes at 10. You want to give it about an hour after the store closes generally to turn the machines back on so they're usable again. So in this case, we're going to say Sunday at 9:30 is when they're going to turn off. And then Sunday at, we'll say 11 p.m. is when those readers are going to turn back on. And we're going to uncheck the box right here. Okay, so right here it says machine start allowed. We're going to uncheck that box and we're going to hit save. So what's going to happen now is you can see machine start allowed, it says off. So at 9:30 p.m. on Sunday, it's going to turn off the reader, or it's going to disable the reader. And then at 11 p.m., it's going to enable the reader again. So if you do have some overnight washing or anything like that, you can basically turn those readers back on so that your employees can use it. Now, one thing of note is when it does disable these readers, nobody can start those machines. So once those readers are off, they're off until you turn them back on. So that's why it's very important to make sure that you put it back on at a certain time if you do have some overnight wash and fold. Okay. The next question is, can I forward my credit card charges to the customer? And again, the question, the answer to that is yes, you can. And what it is it's the credit card surcharge. So while we're in the setup tab here, we're going to go to server management. And in here, we have several different credit card options here, but we're going to go over them specifically. So we can charge a credit or debit surcharge, and that's either through the vend or when they add value to the kiosk. And essentially what this is you pay a specific percentage to your processor to process credit cards. This is a way of just forwarding it on to the customer so that the customer's paid for it. You will want to check with your local state and city ordinances to make sure that you can do this or that it is legal in your area. Generally, it is for most of them. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to choose, do you want it when they use the machines, you want to charge them that percentage, or do you want them to, when they add money to their accounts through the kiosk or through the readers with a credit card, do you want to charge this percentage? And what you're going to do is you're just going to choose what percentage. And generally, most people usually do the percentage that they're paying. So 3%, 4%, 5%, however you want to set that. And in this situation, once that does that, it's going to actually tell the customer on the reader, it's going to show them their total vend value. And it will also show them on the kiosk that they're being charged the surcharge to use a credit card. So it's just a way of charging a little bit more for credit card usage so that you don't take the hit for that. Okay, so the next question that we have is, if my system goes offline, do I lose my ability to take credit cards? And the answer is no. There is one way that we can do this. Now, one of the options is the offline authorization amount. And what this does is if your system were to go offline, internet is kind of hit or miss in some places. If the internet goes down, you can set a authorization amount. So as an example, let's say we put $20. What that's going to do is that's going to say a customer that comes in, they swipe their credit card on the reader, it's going to get them up to $20 to use on the reader. And it's just going to assume that they have that money on the credit card. And they're going to be able to start machines up to $20 and start washers, start dryers, and so on. When the internet does come back up, the system is going to go and say, I need this money. I want this money from that credit card. Now, if the customer does not have that money in there, or if it's declined after the fact, you are going to lose that money. So you want to make sure you're going to lose that vend essentially. So you want to make sure that if you really want to set this on here, you want to make sure that you are prepared to the fact that someone may have come in with a card that could be declined, and you're going to set this to an amount that you're comfortable with should you lose it. So I've seen this set up in other stores, and it's generally $10 to $15, enough for a wash and a dry is the general consensus on that. Okay. And then the last option we have is the max how do I set max amount for credit card use? So that's the max daily authorization amount. And what that is that's the maximum amount of money a specific credit card that comes into your store can use. So in the case of a customer comes in, right now it's set to $400. That customer can come in with that one single credit card, and they can start all the machines in the store. They can, buy vending machine stuff, and they can get up to $400. As soon as they get to $400, the system is going to stop them, and it's going to say, hey, you've reached your limit. You can't do it anymore. Okay. So that is the system configuration. Again, I apologize for skipping over that. I'm not sure why that happened, but I'm going to throw it back over to Steve. And give me 1 sec to get to the right slide, Steve.
No problem.
Sorry. Let me get back here.
Yeah, just to kind of bumper off of Andrew talked about, well, what happens when you're offline. So we have that offline credit card mode that he showed you how to set, and then the cellular backup option, which we just talked about. So if you're interested in kind of a seamless option that doesn't expand any risk for you in those events, then let us know and we'll help you get a cellular backup installed. Okay, let's push on to the next slide, Andrew. All right, something else, a couple of things I want to make you aware of is that there's a lot of functionality as we've started to kind of touch on today. And you may be wondering, how do I advertise this to my customers, particularly when we talk about loyalty programs, surcharges, all those things. How do you communicate those messages to your customers? And so what I would like to direct you to is back to the Laundry Card website. And under the resources section, there is a signage tab that will allow you to search through all of our pre-designed signage files, and you can download them and have them printed at your local print shop or print them locally. And ultimately, the idea here is to make it easy for you to get that communication, get that message out to your customers. We have all kinds of signs related to advertising the fact that you accept credit cards, or maybe it's about bonuses. We did a little thing for COVID to kind of promote the mobile app at one point, and we have other things relating to credit card convenience fees, loyalties, credits, all kinds of things. So explore that on your own leisure, and make sure you realize that resource is available to you. And there's no, it's just an easy thing to get involved in and download locally. All right, moving along, Andrew. Warranty. So we get questions about warranty, particularly through our support team. And so just real briefly, I want to make sure you're aware of some of the options if your system is still covered under warranty. And so if you have a FasCard system with F1 card readers, and so you should know what that means, you had a 1-year warranty from the date of installation. If you have F2 card readers, you have a 2-year warranty. If you happen to also have one of our Flex products, that was also a 1-year warranty. And so anytime inside of your warranty period, we will help you with any kind of failed component during that warranty period. It does not require you to reach out to your distributor. You can work with our support team to have what's called an advance replacement sent out. And it's very similar to pretty much any other company you may do business with, where they allow you to order a part to replace a part in advance, so you're not left with an empty spot if it's a card reader, for example, on the machine. And so we will do that. We take a credit card for it, and then you have a return label that's provided to return those parts back to us, so that you aren't charged for those. So we want to make sure that you're aware that option is available if you do have any kind of component failures during your experience with us. If once your warranty has expired, if you need replacement parts, we do ask you to go back to your distributor. And so you can choose any of our distributors. We have near 200 of them across the United States, and they can process a parts order, no different than the way you order parts today, probably for your laundry equipment. Our team will certainly help you identify the part number. And if you are not sure who your distributor is, our support team can help direct you to the distributor on record for you, or even direct you to another if you're looking for it to make a change in that regard. So there are some options on how to get replacement items if you so need it, in and out of warranty. All right, Andrew, next slide. Andrew, next slide.
Oh, it should have come through.
There we go. All right. Oh, good. Questions. So I think Rachel has been monitoring the questions and kind of curating them a little bit. So if you have questions that you thought of, please get them in the chat, and I'm going to let Rachel kind of queue up the questions here, and we'll try to address them.
All right, so our first question that came through the chat is, if an attendant card is set to refill at 0, will it still refill when it reaches 0, or will it have to be on a certain time recurrence?
Yeah, so The auto reload feature is purely based on time, not based on the amount. So you can decide if you want the attendant card to reload at a certain day of the week or a certain time during the month, but it doesn't monitor the amount of the card. It does it purely on a schedule.
All right. And the next question, can employees clock in using the app?
The short answer is no, they can't directly clock in on the app, but because the intention is that we want them to be present. You know, if they clocked in on the phone, they might be still driving in. So we want to make sure that they have physical presence in the store. And so they need to be in the store. Now, if you have given your attendants access to the mobile app, they can use the mobile app to execute a clock in at a card reader. So they don't have to physically use the loyalty card at a card reader. They could use the mobile app to clock in at a card reader. So that's kind of a way to use the mobile app to clock in, but we don't support an option for them to clock in if they're not physically at the location. And I want to circle back to the last question that talks about zero balance. I just want to add that the auto reload feature does support the ability to zero out the balance before it adds the new money on. So if you're worried about the auto reload feature combining amounts every week, so if they have $6 or $7 every week when they get reloaded with another $20, then it keeps compounding out that, you can control that. You can say zero out the card before you put the reload on, so that every Monday there's $50 on the card and you're ready to go for the week. All right, next question.
All right. Since the last software update, when we pull our activity from the loyalty account page for a specific customer, we cannot see the current day's activity unless we backdate by 1 day.
Okay, so I'm not aware of any issues with that activity report, but I will, what I would refer you to is to contact the support team and just go into more deep. There may be some details there that will probably be hard for me to digest through this forum, but we should call the support team, explain exactly what report you're struggling with, and if there is an issue, we have a great system of getting that in there and getting those issues resolved. I'm not aware of any particularly, so maybe there's just a setting that we need to kind of direct you towards.
All right, how do we change the time on the dashboard on the admin site to be correct? It looks like there might be an issue with time zone or daylight savings. Their time is an hour off of what it should be.
Yeah, I would probably again direct to tech support. There's lots of curious things when we deal with showing information, particularly time sensitive information on a website, because obviously there's various time zones, and the browser that you're using has a time zone and a time associated with it as well. And so in some of our screens, we're going to reflect time as it's shown in your browser, and in other times we're going to be showing times reflected to what the local time zone was at the location. So we probably want to look a little closer. I would say, yeah, give us a ring. Let us look deeply into that. If you have a store that's not in the time zone that you're viewing it from, sometimes that can cause some confusion as well. As I said, sometimes we'll report data on the time zone of the location. Other times it's the time zone of what your browser is set for. So give us a call and I'm sure we can get through that easily.
All right, Howard asked, can I automate the previous day's income? Does that question make sense to you? I'm not sure what context this question, Howard, if you want to type in the chat kind of a little more context for automating previous day's income.
Yeah, I don't know if you're talking about saving like report settings or something. That might be what it is. But yeah, maybe a little more clarification on that. If you're still with us, Howard, we'll try to address your question. Let's move on and we'll come back to it. Yeah,
we'll put that one on hold for now. Are they removing the tap to pay option for FasCard readers?
Yeah, that's a good one. So the tap to pay feature, and let's be clear what we mean by that, is the ability to use Apple Pay and GPay at the washer and dryer. that functionality is being removed. And if you got our email on that, it's really a change in the credit card industry and the technologies that have been deployed over years. The credit card industry is kind of migrating to something called EMV, which is a more secure methodology of accepting credit cards. In the laundry industry, we don't suffer from a lot of security issues because our clientele, it's kind of a need of life situation. People don't generally have a lot of problems there. So EMV hasn't been necessarily a priority in our industry, but the industry doesn't consider only laundromats. They consider all retail businesses. So they have come to a conclusion that they don't want to support non-EMV contactless payments. So that is coming down. We sent some notices out on that recently with the deadlines for that. And so we will, you'll see that stop working. It will basically prompt the user to just swipe their credit card if they try to tap their phone. But we are also, we've actually already developed a new device called the F3 card reader, which is an EMV compliant device. It's a hardware change to support the new EMV requirements. And so the F3 reader has actually been fully developed, and we've been really excited to get that product launched, but are unfortunately suffering from some supply chain issues like the rest of the world. We can't get the microchips that we need to fully fulfill our production orders there, but we're working on that. And it's a top priority for us. And so if EMV is something you are interested in, we can work, we'll have upgrade packages available to replace your hardware if you so choose to do so. And it's also important that you realize that we do have EMV support at the kiosk. So if you are accepting cash and credit cards through our touch kiosk, we already have an EMV option there. So which does support contactless touch to pay options as well. The option that the feature that's being disabled is the one that happens directly at the washers and dryers. The EMV contactless feature with Apple Pay and Google Pay is still available through the touch kiosk. All right.
All right. Howard clarified for us, he would like to receive an automated email with the previous day's credit, cash, and vending machine income. Is that a possibility?
We want to automate it. Yeah, so that's on our development list, Howard, and it is coming. So we don't have the ability today to schedule reports. I like to call it push reporting, where you go in and you pre-program maybe a handful of reports that you like to see in your inbox on some kind of schedule, maybe on a daily basis, and that is coming. So it's not available today in the current radiation, but for any of you that have had FasCard for a while, you know that we release new functionality. We try to get it done every 3 to 4 months to introduce new features, address issues that we found, and that is absolutely on our roadmap. So keep your eyes open for future releases and what we call push notification or push reporting.
All right. What preventative maintenance do I need to do and how often to keep the card readers functioning their best?
Yeah, so it's really simple. For the most part, it's just cleaning. Really with most electronics, lint and dust can accumulate over time, and really the only problem with it is it generates more heat. So all electrical components, convert electricity into heat. It's at some point, and they have requirements to keep that temperature at a certain place. So if you can just keep them clean, you will have long life out of that. That means really keeping that dryer lint out of those readers, and that's one of the tough spots because there's a lot of lint associated with that. From a mag stripe reader perspective, most office supply stores sell like a card cleaning kit that's got like an alcohol soaked plastic card that you can run through your readers. If you happen to be having problems with that, you can run those through occasionally, and that will often take care of reading issues. But everything else in our system is really about cleaning. Just make sure it stays clean. Use compressed air as a good friend, and just make sure it all stays dust free.
All right. What type of card do you use for money collection? Is that in the setup area of the admin site?
Yeah, so Andrew talked about it when you're in the user section and you're creating user accounts for your employees. So maybe it's a collector or yourself. There's a permissions checkbox right next to the user account information where you set up their balance and their card number. And there is a checkbox in there called collection. And so if you check that box, whenever one of your users with that card swipes at a machine, will be presented with a collector card. There it is right there, collector card reader privilege. They'll be presented with an option where they can collect a machine. So whether it's a washer or dryer card reader or it's one of the kiosks. So any card can essentially be granted that card reader privilege, but you have to check it off there in the user privilege section.
Okay. Let's see. We had a comment or a question about collecting machines remotely.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Yeah. We do have that feature. We've gotten that feature request a couple of times. We haven't done much for it. It's usually our expectation that someone that is physically collecting the machine, it takes less than 1 second to collect a card reader. You swipe your card and you push, you touch the screen 3 times, and that resets the collection totals on that particular device. And the expectation when we developed the feature is that would happen. You've got a key, you're pulling a box, you swipe the card, and you go click, 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 and the store is collected, or the machine is collected. If you were to consolidate your collections through an app, or something like that, or remotely, the only issue with that is that you may have disparities. So, if it takes you 30 minutes to walk through the entire store to collect all the money, and then at the end of it, you went in and you hit collect all machines, someone else could have, in the meantime, if you started your first collection and ended the last one, they may, you may find that they've started a machine and now the numbers are off. So you're going to reset those totals at the inappropriate time. And for us, we operate, a lot of customers that operate our systems run lots of stores, and they need a very concise way to make sure there's accuracy during the collection process.
Okay. Can the loyalty cards be used to enter the store and the bathrooms after hours?
Let's see. So yes, you can use the card readers to control access to doors. That's a feature available today. Andrew showed you a feature earlier that talked about machine start availability. And so there may be a way to schedule when those card readers are available. So I'm not so sure if you're asking, can I make card reader access to my doors only available after hours? Maybe that's when the attendant leaves. Maybe there's some context here that can clear up the question. If that's the case, then you could enable the card reader to accept cards after your closing time, and then basically just unlock the bathroom during the daytime hours. And then after hours, they will use the card to unlock the bathroom doors. So that may be something, maybe you could clarify the question or give us a call and we can answer that in more detail, but there may be something we can help you figure out.
How can I merge my accounts so the customer can use their account across the brand's locations?
Okay, cool. That's a great question. So, and there's been some changes over the years with us, we've actually made some improvements in this area. So you've always had the ability to create one FasCard account with us and add as many locations to that account as you like. And when you do that, any loyalty card that's dispensed out of any store or issued out of any store can be used at any of the other locations inside that FasCard account. One of the caveats years ago was that you had to share a merchant account across all of those locations, which may not be optimal if you have partners or if you have specific banking requirements. You don't want those deposits to happen between 2 stores in the same bank. But that has been resolved, and so now we do have the ability to set up different merchant accounts with different locations. So, and if you currently have multiple accounts and you would like to bring the locations in those accounts together in a single account, that is just a request. It starts with our support team, and then they're going to direct you to our FasCard program manager, who will work with you on some documentation that we have to have you fill out just to identify how exactly you want this to fit in. Usually takes about a week or so to execute. And then when you log into your account, you'll have one account with a list of the locations. You'll still be able to run reports individually by those locations. And if you so choose, you can have different merchant accounts set up for the different locations.
Okay. When you do time of day pricing and also accept coin, does that update the coin price as well? Just want to verify. Someone in the comments said yes, it does, but I just wanted to verify that with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's actually a unique feature of FasCard, all of the CCI products for that matter, is that whenever, Andrew showed you how to change the vend prices on the machines, when you make that vend price adjustment, it's for all of the vending options on that machine, which includes coin, credit and debit, and loyalty card.
Also, if you take credit, if you take coins and you're changing those prices, you want to make sure you do it in the value of the coin. So 325, 350, 375, and so on.
Yeah, the fields in that vend price setup will allow you to type in penny incremental pricing, and that's really intended if you're not taking coins. So if you're accepting coins on your machines and you normally charge $3, if you go in there and type in $2.99 as a vend price, it's going to require the coin users to pay beyond that, so they'll have to put the $3 in, and it could cause some confusions because the display is going to say $2.99, and so our card only customers, our FasCard customers that don't accept coin, can certainly leverage that penny incremental pricing because there's no coin mechanism. But that's a good point, Andrew. If you're accepting coins, keep the pricing in quarter increments or dollar increments if you're taking dollars and quarters together.
Okay. Can card surcharges be configured separately to add a surcharge to credit card machine starts, but not when adding value to the FasCard account or starting the machine with the FasCard account?
Absolutely, and Andrew kind of showed that when he was walking through that. There are two options for the surcharge. There is a vend, and then there's a vend and add value. So if you only want to charge surcharge when they're starting the machine directly with the credit card, then you choose vend. If you want it to be also when they start the machine, but also when they add value, then you choose vend and add value, and it'll apply it to both spaces.
Will FasCard account machine starts be available during an internet outage? So if the internet is down, can they still start a machine with their FasCard account?
If they have a physical loyalty card, which is essentially the same, yes, that is true. If they're trying to use the mobile app and your internet connection's down, that requires an internet connection. And again, that's where the cellular backup fits in perfectly. So if you have spotty internet or you have occasions where that case is, the cellular backup would pick up and there'd be no change in any functionality. If that FasCard user has a physical card, those cards will continue to operate in an offline mode. And the satellite that Andrew mentioned does keep track of the balances of your customers as they operate in the store. If they insert cash into a kiosk during that disconnection, it's no problem. They'll have immediate availability of that cash on their card right away. But any transaction that occurs online, so like if they add value to the account using the mobile app, that won't be available to them until that connection is restored. So if you have a cellular backup, no difference. If you don't have a cellular backup, then they'll have to wait for that service to be restored, the internet service to be restored, and then the balance will be available to start machines.
Okay. When dispensing new cards, we've had multiple instances of faulty cards not being able to have funds loaded correctly. Is there a way to remotely auto dispense a card for customers?
There is not a way to dispense cards remotely. And it sounds like there's some specifics in there that might be helpful to help answer the question. So I might direct this to support, but there are, if a card is being dispensed and it isn't dispensing correctly, there are some things that can happen on the kiosk. If the card comes out but the money's not on it, there's some things that can happen. The system generally knows if it dispensed a card and the balance didn't get accurately added to the card, like a simple one B is the cards are loaded in the dispenser upside down, and so there's no way for the kiosk to know what card to load the money on. And in those instances, there's a screen that can pop up on the kiosk automatically, and it asks the user, the retail customer, to type in their card number, and then it'll apply the balance to that card even without it being swiped. I don't know if that answers the question though, so I'm gonna maybe defer that one to call into our team and explain that question in more detail, and we'll see if we can help.
All right. Why would an employee use a start only card?
Yeah, so a start only card is that if you run the system fairly simply, meaning you just want them to use a card to do restarts and rewashes, when someone complains or if a machine fails for some reason and they need to now start another machine, you may want them to be a start only card with a balance on it so that they can restart a machine for a customer without having to have them pull coins out of a box to start a machine. It also may be what you use for your wash, dry, and fold service. And as Andrew described, if you wanted that user to have more advanced functionality, you can create a more fully functioned user account for them where they can then log on to FasCard and you can permissionize what they can access, or they can use the mobile app for some other functionalities like schedules and the schedule task feature that he also reviewed.
All right. How do I put in a coupon? I'm assuming that's how do I create a coupon?
Yeah. So again, one of the things that we wanted to be sensitive today is the timing. We know that everyone's busy. There's lots of functionality we did not cover today. One of them was really setting up all of the possible loyalty programs, and coupons would be one of that. We intend to do more training that's got focus on loyalty. And so there is a feature under a loyalty tab called coupons, and in there's a way you can set up different coupon types, and it can be bonuses or discounts or assignments of free dry credits. Again, there's lots of loyalty programs available to you in FasCard, and I would suggest is that we get you invited to our training seminars that we're going to do focused on all the loyalty programs are available, because we have some really creative, neat ways to help you promote your store. So this training session was built on kind of basic functionality, but it is certainly not all encompassing of everything. So keep your eyes open for that. If you want to know more right now about how to set up a coupon or any of the other features, just reach out to our support team and they'll be happy to focus you on it. Andrew also mentioned a number of times the little blue question mark. It's on all the pages. So if you go to your loyalty/coupon section and click that little blue icon, it will give you at least some documentation if you wanted to kind of preemptively read up on the coupon feature and preliminarily how to get it configured.
Perfect. Can attendants clock in at a card reader with no schedule in place, or if they're not scheduled? We allow our cleaners to come in the mornings. They don't really have set hours.
Yeah, it's no problem. Really, the schedule is a communication method, so that if you want a way to electronically distribute a schedule, that's what the scheduled feature is for. But if they are not scheduled, we never prevent a user from clocking in. We realize in this business too that there are people who trade shifts kind of last minute and they have to find someone to work for them. So we don't prevent clocking in. What we do though is we present the schedule to them. And we can also do some things with overtime management through our time card system.
All right. Does the warranty for the F2 reader cover display screens if they crack or spider or have a blank screen?
Yeah, in most cases, we cover pretty much anything that happens to it short of vandalism. If someone took a hammer to the displays, that's something you should pick up with your insurance company. That's no different than them smashing the glass on your machines, on the doors. But if for the most part, we have a very liberal warranty policy for those types of things. So if you've had some screens that have whited out, we've seen that in some instances, get those back to us and we'll work with you. If it's under warranty, you have some options. Displays can be field replaced. And so if you're comfortable with it, we can just send you a display. It takes about 5 minutes to replace a display at that. If you want us to do it, you can send it in, we'll take care of it. Cracked and, if it's damaged from a physical flow, we may ask some more questions about it, but we have a pretty liberal policy there.
Okay. Is there any method for separating vended turns from user turns? Our attendants use their cards for wash, dry, fold, and it would be helpful to access turns per day for vended cycles only.
Yeah, almost every report already has employee starts removed, not included. I believe the only report that actually shows attendance sales is the totals report. Every other kind of turns report already has employee usage removed. So we realize we don't want to overinflate your turns due to restarts and rewashes or wash, dry, and fold cycles. So that it's already a default of the system.
How can we change the FasCard reader's timeout when the card is swiped, but the machine is not started for X amount of minutes? So someone swipes their card to pay, but then has some unforeseen issue with soap or something else, and the machine times out and they lose their credit on the machine.
Yeah, some of that is, so there's no way to do it today on like an ad hoc, like you can set the timeout yourself. I believe the default is 5 minutes on most of our firmware, card reader firmwares that we send out. And so we've generally thought that 5 minutes from the time you swipe to actually start the machine is enough time. Obviously, that doesn't cover every possible scenario out there. But we do, I know there is there's a feature request in the queue to make that selectable where you can change the amount. I don't have a status of when that'll be available exactly today, just because I haven't looked at the feature in a while, but it is in the queue. I've seen it, but it is 5 minutes for anybody who's asking.
All right. Do most FasCard owners charge a deposit or fee for a new card?
Oh gosh. It would be purely a guess. I do operate stores, or my family operates stores. We do not charge at our 6 stores any deposit for cards. That's just a personal business decision. I think that if you're opening up a new location, it's probably a good idea not to charge for the card for at least the first 3 to 6 months, and just let your community get their first card, let them get used to the system and go forward. If you're struggling with people throwing the cards away and constantly buying new cards every visit, you might want to consider a deposit. Our loyalty points program, which we didn't spend a lot of time on today, but again, we'll circle back to, maybe another alternative as a positive way to kind of reinforce keeping your card, because if you lose your card or don't bring it in, you lose the points. But I would guess, this would be a pure guess. It may be a better question for people in the group here to answer what they're doing. But I would say that maybe 30% of our stores charge a deposit. So that'd be a guess, though. I could be off.
Okay. All right. We're setting up coupons for specific events that we attend and donate to. How can I pull reports for each loyalty coupon code?
Yeah, so there's a coupon performance report that you can run that shows you the performance of coupons, but I don't know if it's the same. If you're using the same coupon over and over again, it may not separate on the event. You may need to make sure you're creating a coupon for a particular event, and then that report might be more useful. And again, one of the things that I would invite is that if the reporting isn't providing you what you need, let's say in that example, if we're not, email us. We have an excellent system of monitoring requests from customers and implementing those. We may not be able to get them done in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but with 3 to 4 releases a year, you may find that within some reasonable amount of time, your feature might be there. So just email it in, say this is the kind of data you're looking for. We'll either provide you with some kind of, here's an alternative way to get that data, or we'll document it and enter it into our feature queue.
All right. And our last question, does it show credit card surcharge on the readers themselves? This owner knows that it shows it on the kiosk, but is there something they need to do for it to show on the reader?
Yeah, it does not show on the card reader. So that's something that that it does not do today. So if there is a surcharge being implemented at the card reader, it just tacks it on. So it taxes it onto the entire purchase amount. So yeah, there is no option for that today.
Okay. And let's see. Sarah asked, what is the email address? One more time. I think if we go to the next slide, I think if she's referring to the support email address, it is on the next slide here.
It's just support@laundrycard.com, I believe, is that's where you could send in your requests and any questions, support inquiries that are not urgent. You can send those in there and we'll always get those addressed. If you need something more urgent, then we encourage you to call us. And we have a team here waiting to help you with that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we've gone through all the questions, and we want to thank everybody so much for joining us today and sticking through all the questions there.
Yeah.
Watch for the follow-up email. It should be coming tomorrow, and it's going to have a recording of today's session. It'll have a copy of the slide deck with some training links to our internal documentation, and then it'll also have a feedback survey. So if you guys want to learn more about marketing or loyalty programs or anything specific that we went over today a little deeper, give us some of that information in the feedback survey so that we can create some future training sessions. And like Steve said, reach out to support if you have any questions. And that's it for us today.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for participating. We appreciate your attention. We look forward to working with you, and have a great day.